Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tom and Jerry Show with myself, Jerry McBride, and himself, Tom O'Mahony. Tom, how are you doing, buddy?
Not well. I'm getting attacked by some sort of flying. Oh, Jesus. It's after following me. Jerry, the midges around here, I'm not going to lie. They're colossal. They are
Tom,
colossal.
I gotta tell you, they may not be midges. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Today, do you know what today is?
Go on.
Today is Flying Ant Day.
What now? Is this the Dolly Parton story again, where you ended up nearly getting attacked by bees? No?
No. This is flying ants. Flying ants are ants that fly. Okay,
Yeah.
you know the winged ants.
I get you.
And I don't know where they are. They're like in the crust of the earth for 363 days of the year, and they come out for 2 days. And I honestly thought the first time I saw them, I thought it was a plague descended upon the house. Like, what have I done? How have I wronged God?
They only come out 2 days.
Right? Something like that. But like there'll be a day where they emerge from their cocoons, like Gears of War, Emergence Day. They just all come out.
Of
And I
Westmeath.
happened to notice on Twitter earlier today, someone going like, my God, there's an awful lot of flying ants in town today. And I was like, let me just go out and check the wall at the front of the house, and lo and behold,
Rake 'em.
all covered.
Jesus.
So I have a funny feeling what you're battling there, Tom, is not a midgie, it's a flying ant.
I don't know. We don't like. I don't know.
I feel them crawling on me, Tom.
I don't know what the ants even get a look in around here with the wildlife that's here. Like, I got seen off my own property this evening. I'm calming down now that I'm looking at your happy face. I needed to look at your face rather than my own two bloodshot eyes in the rearview mirror of my car as one boiled over with temper. Another site related scenario, but sure, look, we won't get into it. These are the things that in building your own house, as we said, these will vex you. You can't. Humanity is the only thing that will let you down. Typically, you can work around the weather, materials. It's just humans. But anyway, my temper was getting a bit, and I got seen off my own property for sure by a hawk. There's a pair of hawks that live, and this thing didn't fly away. It kind of flew in the direction I was driving. Would pull up every so often on a branch and go, "You moving on?" Like, I knew by the way he was looking at me. He was like, listen, I have a rake hunting to do, and you bollocking and kicking stones around the place and making racket is going to ruin my buzz, like, and I've dinner to be getting. So
where's the rabbits? There used to be rabbits here, and then you stuck a house there.
And this fella, he 4 or 5 times he stopped on the way, kind of going, "Come on, lad, Jesus, put it into third, like, put it into third, like, don't be frightened now." He just had a look of an animal that had enough of me, and I appreciated it, to be honest with you. His ignorance kind of took my level of ignorance down a bit. I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, okay, I get it." Also, finger update on the busted finger. Do you want to see it?
I do, please. Actually, just do me a favor, Tom, because I clocked this already. Yeah. I clocked this earlier. I was going to ask you about it. I had to double check, but Tom has bandaged his finger for once. Okay, normally this just like spit and sawdust will keep it closed.
Yeah,
but he's bandaged his finger with a Paw Patrol band-aid. There's Marshall.
Marshall Chase is on the fucking case. I tell you now. 1 second. I tell you, and you'll see why I have to bandage it, because this is great audio stuff now altogether. So it is all after lifting on that side there, Jerry, the lower side as you're looking at. And to say that there are more straight edges and corners in my life and thread and bits of everything else, I didn't realize I was surrounded by so many catchy bits of stuff in life.
You never are until you have a nail loose or something. You'll never know what it'll catch on.
I mean, I can't put my hand in my pocket. I can't pick my nose. I haven't picked my nose in 2 weeks. And
there's no other fingers, Tom.
I have a favorite, Jar. I have a favorite.
What can I say?
Do
you know what I'm going to tell you, Tom? I'm after seeing the flying ant go by, and I don't know if he's on your side of the screen or after flying past my. I swear to God, I'm plagued by them. It's just all you got to say to yourself.
He's there. He's there. You might be right. He could be a flying ant.
You just say to yourself, 2 days, and then they tend to disperse out into the wilderness. But
is that what Wonderball was about? 2 days is gonna be the days.
Sorry, Tom, I interrupted your finger story.
The jokes get better than that, folks. They do. No, it's all but she's ready for cast off now, I would imagine, fairly soon. You see the lower bit that's growing in, it's pushing it out. Well, it got caught in a sock the other day, and all the west side, all the west side of it just all went, we're out of here. But the east was like, they were like colonial masters. They're just hanging on to that side. I wish the whole lot would just shag back and let the new one in, the new wave. There's not much a political movement going on. It's the right versus the left.
Uh,
And there's a new wave of something coming, and neither one of them seem happy with one. The left seemed, oh, they've already given up the ghost, but the right seems to be still hanging in there. Whether it knows what's coming next is good or bad, I don't know. But
I
um,
think that's as political as we're going to get on
that's
the
it.
Tom and
That's
Jerry show
Tom's
this week,
fingernail.
Tom.
That's the update.
Uh,
And I'm also on the Tropical Blast Zero Sugar, and I tell you, things are going all right now.
well, do you know what? Things are going all right, left and center, ladies and gentlemen. We got flying ants, we got fingers hanging off ourselves, low calorie drinks. We got the whole lot, but that wasn't the big news this week. The big news this week is the big news that was last week and indeed next week. It's strange. We're right in the middle of it. We're in the middle of the news, Tom. And we're going to bring the people through it in the segment that we call the weekly What Have You.
This is a very complicated case, Mod. You know, a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous, and a lot of strands to keep in my head, man. You know.
This one, we've been trying to get at this one but it's just a never ending. Do you remember Lamb Chop? Do you remember that kids show years ago? This is
Well, like
there
the
is a
sock puppet kind of
song
thing,
that
yeah.
never ends. The cycle race that never ends.
Well, actually,
Well, we're technically at the end of it, but you know
that's
what I mean.
next. That's next, Tom. That's next, buddy.
I got so excited to talk about the
That's that. You're close.
sports.
It's the other thing, Tom.
It's the other thing. Well, the weekly, yeah, the other thing, I caught me by surprise. I thought the old pair were kind of losing it small, but they were like, "We're going watching the All Ireland on BBC this year."
There you go.
I went, "What? There is no All Ireland on BBC." Sure, I think you can find. Sky Sports tried their hand at it, but when they couldn't make it exclusive and get people to pay for it, then they kind of went, "Nah, you're grand." But they made it a bit sexy as well. But they did. They watched the BBC coverage of the All Ireland final, and we talked. We covered. Was Anthony Horgan got licked his face licked the week before
Yeah, he
last?
got his face licked there, and all for Tom, all for naught. It would appear.
He's
Sorry,
60.
I hate to do it. Yes,
Well, to get a shout out to Anthony Hoggy Horgan, who went on. He beat, I think it was Eddie Brennan. I could be wrong. Eddie Brennan. He went on to become. He's 16 years playing senior intercounty hurling for Cork. 19 years since Cork won an All Ireland. He had probably had hopes and dreams. He got to the All Ireland, but he did beat, even though they didn't win, Clare won in the end when they played extra time. He did beat and become the highest scorer of all time. So,
oh well,
I
there
mean,
you go.
so shout out to that
Maybe
man.
there's something to be said for
I mean,
physio spit.
look,
But come here to me, Tom. I said like we were bang in the middle of this week's weekly what have you because we had the All Ireland hurling final yesterday as we record this.
mm-hmm.
Pulling back the curtain of the show, we record on Mondays. But we've got the All Ireland football final next week. So anybody that listens to this on Thursday, you'll have already had one All Ireland and you got another one coming up. So we figured this is the first time we've ever been like a Tom and Jerry filling to an All Ireland sandwich.
Gee.
And as you said yourself, this
Are
is
you,
one of the first years that it's ever been on the BBC.
are you ham or am I cheese? Or my cheese, you ham? Because we're having a ham and cheese sandwich. If that's what's going on GA wise, you can't have any fancy ciabattas or.
Some days you're ham, some days you're cheese, Tom. You know what I mean? You
This
never
is a
get to
very
choose.
philosophical episode. I have to say, between fingernails and sandwiches, this is unbelievable stuff. But you're right, and I think
So
they'll
come
have.
here to me. You did you watch the BBC coverage or did
I
you stick with
watched
RT?
it. No, I watched it for the crack.
You'd have to do it for the novelty, wouldn't you?
I missed. I was up on site and I went, gee, the time. Lithuanians, pack up. We'll stay
Of a
working.
Sunday.
Oh, 110%. No stop. No
Wow.
stop for.
Time and a half, Tom, isn't it?
I tested them the first day. I went, you stop for lunch? You stop for lunch? I went, I don't, but you can if you want, lads. No, we stay working. I went, now that's more my style. Big feed at 8, cut a sliced bread and a mug of tea, and off you drive till 5 o'clock. But the boys didn't pack in. I popped down the road to watch it at the parents' place, and they had the BBC on. And I was like, oh, I'm not sure how comfortable I am with this. I should be listening to Marty Morrissey and, Michael Dignan, going on about trying to do their best, Mihal and Mara Hertig,
Well, I mean,
more
on that in a second.
trying to do their best on him. But I've never cared too much. I nearly listened. I'm like, okay. But then they had the BBC on for novelty, which I was amazed. And I have to say, they did a very, very good job of covering it. They did a very good job of covering it. The guy Tomas, he was a northern chap by the sounds of things. He was there with oh God, clear hurler. I was literally only talking about it about 2 hours ago with a chap, and I can't remember his name has jumped out of my head. He was co-coms, and they were brilliant. I mean, there was a Kelly goal from Cork that was possibly one of the best goals in a long time in Northern Ireland.
I did
He
see
was
that.
pumped. He was pumped. Like you were pumped watching it. You're like, oh, this is good. This is commentary. You know what this is? This is such good commentary that it's a bit in-housey sometimes when you listen to commentary. You're like, oh, you'd need to know or be watching this every
Right.
week. This guy was just banging it out like it was the UFC. I'm like, yeah. I was leaping up and down, pumped for it.
I'll tell you who else was leaping up and down, Tom, was our friends across the water in England, who, for many of them, this was their first time ever seeing a game of hurling, and they lit up Twitter with cries of, "What the hell is this? What
Yeah,
am I watching?
yeah.
Why is this UFC on a on a GAA pitch?"
What one had described it as it's a mixture of UFC, hockey, lacrosse. I think he said football and egg and spoon race, which isn't fair. When I saw that, I went, "Oh, you're taking a bit." Oh, wait, no, yeah,
Well, no,
yeah.
he's nailed it there.
But like he was going, how can an entire game be played at full sprint, full
Yes.
sprint? And it was a valid point. I went, "Oh yeah, there is almost no bar the goalkeeper poking it back out again. There's almost no bit of hurling that's done at half speed. It's
It's
all
just sort of, yeah.
and
There's no play it back.
those men
I,
went 90 minutes yesterday, Jared.
Tom.
90 minutes.
I'll tell you what it was, Tom. I'll tell you what was spectacular to me as well. And if we've any listeners from England, the feud is over. But for the rest of us now, there was a couple of tweets I seen where it was like, I can't figure out the scoring of this.
Yeah,
I was like, lads,
yeah,
can you do basic arithmetic, okay?
yeah.
A goal is worth 3 points. Over the bar, that's a point. In the goal, that's three. Add it up.
To
If
be
one team has 3 points and one team has a goal, they're level.
and
What is difficult about this?
they make it quite easy. They give you a tally at the end. At either score, like they give you a tally underneath to show you.
Oh, yeah, if you
You know what I
can't do
mean?
the
Like
sums,
what
yeah.
three points and 21 goals, or 3 goals and 21 points means in full point. It's not. It's like, and as a sport, it's traveling like in basketball, no more than 5 steps, or you got to bounce it, whether it's on your hurley or off the ground,
Yeah.
and you can only hand pass. Like
But
there's not
on
a
the
lot of
scoring of it,
rules.
Tom, on the scoring, I want to say
Yeah.
one thing. Like these are the lads that can't add three points to a goal and 1 point for a point. But the same lads that sit and watch cricket. And it's like, oh, here's the score. 75 runs and 6 overs for 3 wickets on
On a
a
Wednesday.
rainy day. What the hell is that?
Well, I
Who won
maybe
that?
I don't know. There's times when I was reading some of those ones. It's a great sport, but I have no idea what's going on. How are they scoring this? I'm like, is that why soccer has so few goals? In fact, some soccer matches can end with nobody scoring anything.
Yeah.
As Spike Milligan once said, he went out when that happened. I went down and looked for my money at the gate. Nobody scored anything. Like it was, but it was the flabbergastness of it. And I mean, some of them were put up, and you're going to go, ah, yeah, that's cute. But will you
Yeah.
ever watch it again? I mean, yes. I'm not saying we're all
Are
out
you
there
going
on
to
it.
watch Division B hurling?
Are you
I
going to,
don't think
you're
so.
watching Junior B hurling matches on a Tuesday night, pissing the rain, down your
Yeah.
local. You're not, but great to have
Division
you on
2
board.
hurling, yeah.
It was nice to see. But the great thing about the BBC, no ads popping up in the middle for Ivor
Well,
and
there's
all the
that.
rest of it. So what they would do is they'd cut to the audience. They'd cut to people who were in the crowd and they were interviewing. So they interviewed Dara O'Brien, Jimmy Nesbitt,
Yes,
that
yes.
Cork girl from Bridgerton. Is it Bridgerton or Derry Girls? The blonde one.
Nicola Coughlan.
Nicola Coughlan, that's it. And they interviewed her, and she was fit to collapse. She was all.
She's
but she's pure.
she's Clare or Galway, I think.
Whichever one of them.
Either way, yeah. Okay,
There's
there you go.
one of them is blonde, one of them is from Cork. I was wearing a Cork jersey, and she was fit to pass out.
Maybe
But
she is from
it's
Cork.
very Cork.
Anyway,
Either way, it made. They could have made a right hokey. Sky Sports went over the top, tried to put in,
the 3D analysis on the Matrix camera and all this kind of crap.
spangly bra on it, and just try to polish its nails and stuff. And it's like whoa, relax. There seemed to be a very well thought out procedure and how BBC went about this. It's like, oh, you did this very tastefully. You're not trying to be RT, and you know you can never be RT in this environment. This is not, but at the same time, didn't go, all right, Petty, let's show you how you should really cover sport. They didn't do that
I'll,
either. They got a hyper enthusiastic Nordy lad
I'll
who
tell you,
couldn't get over this. That he couldn't get enough words out in a sentence. He was that excited. James O'Connor also was the clear former hurler
there you
who
go.
was with him.
The on the commentary, Tom, I said I'd cycle back to it. It's just it's neither here nor there. But Micheál O'Murray-Harty, the late Micheál O'Murray-Harty that we said, you said that a lot of the Irish commentators kind of sound like him. I have an interesting theory on that. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
Do you know why airline pilots all sound the same? You know when you're sitting down listening to the takeoff, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking off now and
No.
cruising
Why? Why? Why?
3000. Do you know where that all came from, right?
No. Come on.
The earliest commercial pilots in commercial planes were all ex-military lads that were flying planes.
Yeah.
What the
Spitfires
hell
and
else would they be
hello,
playing? No,
hello,
no, not
Jerry.
English. Over
Oh,
over in the
American.
over in the old
Right.
US
Right.
of
Right.
A. Okay.
Yes.
And they would all be military pilots coming out of World War II who then went and became commercial airliners. As commercial flight grew and grew and grew and became like a more popular way of travel, they needed pilots, and most of the pilots came from the military. No war on, you got to fly something. Here you go. Boom, boom. You follow me so far?
Uh-huh.
And each one of those military pilots would have seen training videos during the war and after it of a pilot called Chuck Yeager,
Great name.
the fastest man alive. You know the guy who broke Mach 1?
Was that Chuck Yeager?
Chuck Yeager.
Wow, what a cool name.
And guess what Chuck Yeager sounded like?
Yeah. Of
Yeah,
course
Chuck
he
Yeager
did.
here. I'm
With a
flying.
name like Chuck Yeager,
I'm flying. Approaching Mach 1. Ground speed is and that just bled into every airline,
wow.
every fighter pilot that had to study tapes of Chuck Yeager just grew that sort of affectation in the voice, and then they went on to be commercial pilots, and then one hand washed the other, and here we are 60 years later, and boys are still
Learning
like,
stuff.
yeah,
Learning stuff. By
that's
God.
to this day. It's like our cabin crew are moving through the cabin now, selling scratch cards at the moment.
Well, the thing about Micheál Marhartic is he had his own style, and you were never going to copy it, you know. But
No, but I feel like he was like so
oh,
iconic at it
to
that
coin
every
the
commentator that
kids
came since can't help but have a bit of that
to
in him.
coin the kids today. He was the goat.
He was the goat.
I mean, he didn't eat your washing, or shit in your lawn, but he was a goat. He's one of the few. I've met a lot of famous people in my time, Jar, and he's possibly one of the only people that I was awestruck by. Just whatever presents the man gave, I was like,
Yes.
maybe it was from my childhood list, but again, what they see, some of them tried to do, especially during All Ireland days, they tried to give little pop up like vox pop style
Yes.
anecdotes that he would do. Like
Yes.
anybody wants to go Google Micheál Marhartic, type it in as it sounds, and Google will find it for you.
You'll get him.
And his best sayings. And during matches, he would just pop up with this stuff. Like there'd be a player down and there'd be a break in play, and he would just come out with this amazing stuff. Like, I was walking along Fifth Avenue the other day, and I stopped at the newspaper stand. I said to the man, "Have you by any chance got the Kerryman paper?" He says, "Do you want the South or the North Kerry?" Anyway, back to the game. And he just have these
Just drop them in, yeah.
drop him in. Like Teddy McCarthy, a famous Cork player, was lining up a free one time or a 65, and he says, and Teddy looks at the ball, and the ball looks back at Teddy. And it was just, and Teddy, and it's over the bar. He had, and people, I think every so often lads tried to creep in these little tidbits. Like,
exactly.
But that must be it. So Micheál
Look, it's just whoever's the most famous. All Formula One commentators kind of sound like Murray Walker a bit, I suppose.
They do
this kind of crack.
That nasally thing. Yeah.
Well,
So
listen, that was it, Tom. That was the All-Ireland hurling final, and we still have the All-Ireland football final to come this weekend. If you find folks listening across the pond with whom the feud is over would like to chime into that, work away. We just don't come with this nonsense of how do you score. Same as hurling, lads.
The
Goals,
only thing,
3 points.
if you watch the hurling, you can relax a bit for the football. It's not going. It's not going to be at the
quite
same.
so fast.
It's not so fast. There'll be guys smashing into each other, but there may be a bit of, as they say around here where I'm from, Jerry. And by the way, I had a dog in the fight as a Tipperary man, but I did enjoy it because Tipperary hurling is quite religious here, but as they say in Tipperary, hurling is only played for lads who can, or football is only played by lads who can't play hurling.
There you go.
And it's actually honestly believed. It's believed. Like why would you play that? Oh, you're no good at hurling. That's fine. Fair play to you. Good on you. That's literally the way it's looked on. Oh, you play football?
I found myself having a puck around with 3 hurling all-stars, Tom,
What?
several years ago.
Was this the plasterboard era?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Noel. Let me tell you, Noel. What was his name? I'm not
What
going
it,
to insult any of them. It's not that I don't remember their
was
names.
one
I
of them
don't.
Eddie Brennan from
No, no,
Kilkenny,
no.
no?
I'll look it up and I'll throw it in the socials. But these are all stars, and they're just like sitting around, standing around in a triangle, just sort of batting the ball over and back to each other, just having the chat or whatever. And I went over and was chatting away. They said, "Oh, I should pick up a hurl there, and we'll make a diamond out of this, and we'll bat it around the floor." And
Oh
ladies and
Lord.
gentlemen, it went about as well as you'd think.
As Jerry held the hurley in his mouth, not knowing which end of it to hit. That's
Oh
okay.
no, no, no! The first ball that came over my way, I was just like, there's a finger broken. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a joint out of place. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
More on that at a later date,
We want
I'm
to see
sure.
that on the socials. We want to see that on the socials.
But that was those lads. I'm going to look up those lads' names, Tom. It's not that I disrespectfully don't remember them. I'm not a big hurling man. I'm from Monaghan. What do you want from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this was easily, God Christ, what was it, 10 years ago? Um, so they don't just leap out in my mind right this very second.
That's okay.
I'm still not back on the caffeine, so I do apologize for that. Here's the thing, Tom Toe. That was those lads.
Mm-hmm.
But every week now, 80-yard runs and scoring goals in hurling All Ireland finals, as we seen last Sunday, are one thing. That'll get you that lad, right? But this week, we've got this lad who's might be a little bit better known in the world, even if I don't necessarily know him. But even at that, we had to give him the crown of this lad.
Now there's that guy.
Yeah. I jumped the gun on this lad earlier. We've been trying. That'll tell you.
That'll tell you how long
We've been trying to get at this particular lad for 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
We just didn't know who he was 3-4 weeks
I got
ago.
so excited that at the top of the show, I thought we were going to be doing this lad. Even we were going
this
to
subject, yes,
this subject up the front.
The subject in question is, God damn, look at the rain out there, Tom. Jesus, Mother Mary. That's not this lad.
Stop. I have an ant now flying around trying to take bites out of me. So,
Wheels are rapidly coming off the Tom and Jerry show. But speaking of wheels, the sport in question for this lad is the Tour de France, which finally wrapped up there on Sunday gone by. After us trying to get it in, it just didn't bounce for us, Tom. We tried to get the Tour de France into the show for the past 4 weeks because that's as long as it's been on. But it was finally won by a gentleman called Tadej Pogacar. And Tadej Pogacar, you are this week's this lad by virtue of winning the Tour de France. Some goddamn how, Tom. Because someone's going to have to show me how that's a race that a man can win.
Well,
please.
I initially, when you texted me today, I knew it was coming to a close this week. I didn't know it was done and dusted. But when you just text me, because Jerry, I don't know what phone you're writing off of. I'm guessing it's an iPhone or something. But my friends that have a particular phone, I don't know what it is. Every new sentence is a new message. Like my phone will light up for 3 minutes solid when Jerry's just writing one message because it's just I go, oh, that's Jerry. It's either Jerry or Colin Geddes. Whatever your two phones are. It's just, and every time I pick it up, it's like Jerry is writing. I'm like, okay, right. Sure, I'll just put it down, just look at it.
I'll come back to it in 10 minutes. Yeah.
I don't want to nearly as a surprise to myself. I don't want to see it. But today Pogacar came up and went, oh Jesus, this is a new brand.
He's on one.
No, I just was full short because we'd send each other like tool branding and stuff. Like we really are exactly as you imagine. Like we're that. We don't put this on people. We send each other stuff about new tools that are out on the market and stuff. Like it's where it is. And more extreme things, like if we've had a beer over the weekend, extreme people that have found ways of setting fire to stone and stuff. You go, oh Jesus, yeah, well that's worth sending to each other. And when you send me today, Bicaccia came in as a message by itself. I went, oh, new chop saw, I'm guessing. Let's have a
Could literally be anything.
New mitre saw. Jerry's after hearing about.
But name notwithstanding, Tom. Okay, here's the thing with the Tour de France. And I want to thrash this out. You, congratulations, Mr. Bicaccia. We're delighted you won. The Tour de France is a cycling race that takes place in France. It's one of the most famous, I dare say, the most famous. It's the Wimbledon of cycling,
There
right?
it is. Yeah.
Okay.
You're only pricking around at the rest of them until you get to the Tour de France. It's the big
But
dance.
watching it live or watching it in any capacity, I, it, it's not a race. It's not ready gets a go, and whoever gets to the finish first is the winner.
No,
I,
but it's staged. You see, there's stages. You couldn't. Sure, I mean, you're not going to cycle straight for 4 weeks, but it's staged like rallying.
okay.
So you don't have to win every single day. You just need to stay up in the points. So there'll be points given all the way back. I'm assuming like it. Let's say it's like F1, where there's points given all the way back to, is it sixth place? I think, or maybe
So,
more.
so it's like a league. It's like whoever comes
Exactly. Yeah.
in. Okay,
Exactly. You are
10,
your
10 points for whoever gets first.
yeah.
8, 6, and
So
so on.
you could potentially, I don't know, could a fella potentially, I would say he could potentially win it if he just came third every day, assuming that other fellas haven't come second every day and first every day.
Okay.
Maybe you've had a bad day, you've got an ulcer on your foot, and you come in, nearly last, and you get no points. So I think that's how I could be fair wrong on this, but I think
No, that's
I,
okay.
I think that's how the stages work for the Tour de France.
Okay, so and over the course of 3 weeks or 4 weeks, however long, because if you want like a tournament, Tom, if you want a race, that's what you want. You want
Yeah.
it to take 4 goddamn weeks, right?
Oh yeah.
All right.
I
But
need to
here's
have
the
had
thing,
2 haircuts in the time.
right?
Yeah.
I'd have shaved at least once. Okay, so walk me through this. Why is it anytime I see footage of the lads cycling, right?
Yeah.
And it's my man here today, Pagacha, cycling, and there's some fella from some other team who has another name, I'm sure. I wasn't going to look up two of these lads' names today, right?
Sure.
So just cycling away, like having the crack, like leisurely, granted up like a 90-degree slope of a mountain, but they're just like that. Yeah, no rush appears to be on us. We're just kind of cycling along here. Good, oh yeah, just having the crack.
I suppose athletically, if you look at it, sure, you can't, like, these fellas are probably, let's, for the crack, I have no idea, but let's say they're doing 500 kilometers a day,
Right.
which you could potentially be doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It might be, people might be kicking their phone up against the wall here now, Gaelic football style, going, it's 197. I don't, I don't know,
Yeah,
but
yeah, no, this is never a learning podcast. So
no.
lighten up, Francis.
But you come burst. It's like the young bull looking at the field of cows and the owl bull telling him to slow down. Slow down. You
But like,
go,
do you know,
no,
like,
Jer,
Tom, if
you
I'm
have to
racing,
take your time.
but if I'm racing against you, right?
Yeah.
We're on opposing teams, and you're cycling away there, good and I'm cycling away, good and
Yeah.
I come to chat to you, like, at what point do I go, all right, come here, Tom, nice catching up with you, but I have a race to run, so good luck, I'll be talking to you here now, and just put the boot down and
See,
hammer off.
I think also there's a bit of game, like it's a sport like that I'd love to. I know the Icarus thing was supposed to tell us, was supposed to watch the Tour de France and see was there what the inside story. It's almost like pumping iron
Yes.
so you could see the inside track. But there all the time. There's you have a bit of shit talk as well and shithousery going. Hey, Jesus Christ! I didn't expect your calves to look so small. Huh? What?
What?
Pew! I think there's going to be a bit of that. Also, what cycle of rides have you been on? Is probably because I'm on
Do you know,
Jerry
and
McBride alone and or whatever whatever he's
we'll
on.
we'll not even get into the steroids of it because we will. That's a
Uh,
whole nother crack. We'll just assume that most
but
sport
I'm
people, if
guessing
they're
that's
not
what
playing Gaelic games, are on steroids.
I'm guessing that's what the chat is, and also like, Jesus Christ, hey, did you see the last? Hey, who stole all the tires? Because I went for tires this morning, there was no tires. Yeah, I know. Listen, I can't even find my sandwiches.
Well, there you go. Like it's
It'll
just
get
it's
lonely too out there by yourself, Jerry.
God love them. Come here to me. That's what it is, Tom. It doesn't strike me as a race. It's like when I'm watching golf live on the TV, and it's like, and now we go over to this screen, and here's a lad potting a ball, and then we go over to this lad, and here's a lad, driving down the fairway, and then let's go over to another lad. He's in the woods, and now he's not, and then let's go over to this lad. I'm like, I don't know if I'm watching a live sport. I don't know if this is taped. I don't know if this is a greatest hits. I don't know if it's a roundup of what happened today. Is all this taking place? And when I'm there at the Tour de France, it's like, oh yeah, we're just going to stay on this lad here for 5 minutes. Yeah, he's cycling away, good. All right, and then we're going to cut over to this other lad here, and he's not for nothing. He's cycling too. And
It
let's
was
see how this guy over here is doing. Oh, he's cycling away there too. Like, yeah, it's a hard watch now.
It is a hard. It's for the purists. That's the amazing thing. I think the only thing that makes it so popular is the fact that it's such a hoor of a thing to do, and it's worth watching in nearly a spectacle of going, Jesus Christ, I'd never do that. I'd never do. Now, in saying that, the influx of owl lads at every petrol station and every cafe on a Saturday or Sunday morning that are pulled in full lycra up to the neck. I mean, somebody's liking it somewhere. You know what I mean? Belly hanging out everywhere. You know, arse cheeks. You know, and you're trying to get your sausage rolls. Like, and these lads are clip clopping around with their clippy shoes on. And you're
Do you know
going,
what I'm going to tell you, Tom?
you're fooling nobody, lad. But
I, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you a thing to look out for in the next 6 to 8 months, I'd imagine. Right?
go on.
There was a lad in the Tour de France this year, and it was noted upon what he was wearing.
Oh,
He was wearing a helmet, right? But do you remember in The Simpsons when Flanders went skiing? And it was like stupid, sexy Flanders.
yes, yeah,
And he had
yeah,
like
yeah,
a big, he had a big like dark helmet from Spaceballs, just like a
yeah.
big. That's what this lad was wearing, and I was like, oh, aerodynamically, it's peerless. Like this is the most aerodynamic a human can be. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, but look at that has to be like heavy on his wee head. He looks like a Funko Pop. What's going on here?
But I know, and I remember listening to two owl lads, and you know what I mean. These lads should be only poking a ball around a golf course, but
Yeah,
but bellies out everywhere, wearing all the gear. They got their little pouches, for their money or whatever on their ass and stuff. And one fella's talking about it, how many times a week he shaves his legs, and the other guy's going, yeah. I'm like, lads, leg
lads.
hair is the least of your worries. Both the belly is hitting the crossbar. What are you talking about? Like, do you know
Yes,
what
I'm
I mean?
going to shave no time off now when all you're doing is going up the bypass, up the big road.
Up the big road to get a flat white and a big chocolatey clear up the top. Like, come on.
But watch them come with this helmet here
I
now.
can't wait because there will be there for sure. There are going to be a couple of right helmets going
All
around.
right.
I cycled once competitively as part of an Ironman thing. It's the medal is somewhere there. Hold on, is the medal there? It's a big chunky medal. I want to show it to you if it's there.
Tom's just rifling through all his medals here,
Uh,
trying to
I,
find the right one.
no, I don't have that particular medal, but no, my school's medal takes over all of them. But anyway, it was the Quest Challenge, and they had kayaking, cycling, and running. The running
Okay.
side of things, which you seem to be okay with, was up the side of a mountain, which turns out suits my goat stature brilliantly. Running on roads, not at all, but up the side of a mountain, love it.
Love it.
Kayaking bit, okay, happy enough with that.
You get it done.
The cycling bit, Dodger.
It's
It was
tough.
only like 15 or 20K or something like that. But my God, I don't know what sort of cauliflower taints those men have and women have that do these competitive cycles. But I remember having to drive, got showered, drove back to Dublin and did a gig that night. And I'm not caught. I talked about it on stage. I went, I can't actually even stand straight. I had to sit on one arse cheek the whole drive from Kerry, from outside Kenmare all the way to Dublin on one arse cheek because of what that 20K did to my pipe. I mean, absolutely ruined me, Jar. Sudocrem for a week. I had to get the wife. I had the two legs up on the changing table. The wife had to go at me with the powder. It was redonkulous. I don't
There
know.
you go.
Clearly, I'm not built for it. Wrong saddle and all the rest of it. So a tip of the yellow jersey / cap to those lads and whatever they do to have taints of iron. That's all I've got.
Taints of
That's
iron.
what the race should be called. I'd watch it. Taints of iron. That's what I'd call the Tour de
Do you know
France.
what I tell you? They're not affected by it at all, Tom. They'd cycle 500 kilometers and walk away with an arse looking like a KP skip. Not a bother on them.
Smelling like prom cocktail too. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Here's
yeah.
the thing, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you're listening to this and say, oh, Jesus, Nick McBride doesn't like cycling, not the case. Oh, he doesn't like cycling races, not the case. Do you know what I actually very much like? And it's coming up in the Olympics now very shortly. Do you know the cycling races they do on, I think they call it the
Velodrome.
velodrome?
I love that stuff. I don't know
I
what's
love that.
going on, but it looks like to me it looks like properly juiced up looking
That's
cycling.
gladiator stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I'd imagine
Like that's a race,
there's a bit of a fight goes on there. You know what I mean? You can
right?
see a scrap, like you can see them nudging each other and swinging over and back. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ! You come off here and you hit the wall. Do you know what it is? It's Days of Thunder for cycling.
Right?
Cold trickle.
It's the Indy 500
Yeah, 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 yeah.
for
We're just
cycling,
over
okay?
here eating some ice cream, Cole. Just having some ice cream.
But here's the thing, it's so combative that the two cyclists they can't start side by side. You know, they have to start one either side of the velodrome
Yeah, 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 yeah.
because they'd murder each other.
I love that. Like two
I love
dogs
that.
that you
And
can't leave
because
into the same yard.
right? And it's the because that's a race. That's to me, that's like two people competing to be the fastest person on two
Yeah,
wheels.
yeah.
And you can see it directly in front of you, and you
You
know
don't need a
one's gaining on
degree
the
in
other.
maths to work it out. Yeah,
Right? Because it's not like you're watching and it's like, oh, and here's today Pogacar here making his way up the Alps. And now we cut to Tom O'Mahony on a peloton in Nice yesterday.
yeah,
Why are you showing me this all in one go? Like
yeah, yeah.
two lads, one velodrome. Whoever's heart explodes out their chest first loses. Simple.
My favorite bit of any Tour de France style road race is the last 200, 500 yards, and they're just going. And I'm like,
And they
there,
go,
now we're racing. Now we're
now we're
racing.
racing.
And they're
Okay.
just
Now that's
going.
a race. That's what I
They're
understand
banging
a
off
race
each
to
other.
be.
They're giving it Holly. You know there's going to be a pile up somewhere. Yeah, this looks like racing.
Well, if I could offer a suggestion to make the Tour de France better,
Yeah,
okay? Number one, you don't need the half of them lads. All right. If there's
yeah,
500 lads cycling, get them out of there. You need 40 of the best men going. That's it.
yeah.
And indeed, ladies. I don't. Is there a ladies Tour de France?
I sure I'd say to give
Let
it a
us know
go
in
if
the
they want
comments.
to. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They probably
40 of
stop
the
at all the handbag shops.
40 of the world's best competitors in a race. You don't need more than 40 because I got to tell you, for every race that goes by, there's 500 racing it. All that is 440 goddamn losers, right?
Absolutely.
60, sort of.
100%.
60 maybe runs, okay? And you see this crack of doing it over 500 miles?
Not at all.
No need. 10 mile.
Nah, sure. 1 mile. Let's
1
see them.
mile.
And they can bring whatever weapons they want on the bike.
Three, two,
Thunderdome.
one, go. And then you just
Thunderdome.
hammer it.
Yeah.
And you
Why
get
don't we have
across the
bikes,
line.
proper bike sprints like we do in racing? Sure, there's loads of walk racing and marathons and all the rest of it, but there's sprinting. Why don't
The
we just have a
100-meter sprint.
straight line,
That's it.
bang it out, boys and girls, just go as hard as you can. And you get people with the biggest thigh. Can you imagine if your thighs don't have to last more
Yeah.
than 4 seconds? Can you imagine how muscly their bodies would be? I mean, it'd be just the best thing ever. It'd be
It'd be
like
the
watching.
best thing ever. And if you still want to do it one a day for 30 days and do a league and all that, yeah, fine. Knock yourself out. You want to do one where it's like 10 mile up a hill? Go nuts. But lads, this crack of doing it over the course of a day and it's 500 miles now, you'll be all right. No,
No,
that's
give us our sprint like we want. Just give us
give
a
us a
sprint.
sprint. And if you
Stand-
don't give us our sprint, Tom, it's going to be a row.
Oh Jesus! Oh
But we're not going to
Jesus.
row. We're not going to row about cycling this evening. We're going to row about something else, Tom. What do you think? Do you think it's time to start a row?
The tropical blast says so.
My attitude is, don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
If I know what this is speaking to me, it's time for a row because it smells great.
Well, listen, Tom, here is the crack, okay? We're
Mhm.
moving on in the summer. July is over. All
It would
right?
seem the summer's over there, but anyway,
Summer's over. The flying ants are out.
can only mean one thing:
Can only mean one thing.
silage season first, hay season first, wheat season first. But something needs to go in the ground immediately after that to fertilize it to bring it on for all you fine folk that want to eat stuff, i.e., beef, sheep's, or wheat for your bread, whatever they're growing, barley for your cereal. You got to put something immediately on the ground after that to get it, just revitalize it, getting it grown up, and it's the tale as old as time. Tale as old as time.
Tale as old as time.
Sure, there's all sorts of insecticides and pesticides and all sorts of fertilizers you can put down on grass like 10, 10, 20 and these other ones, but there's one true one that
Never
will
known
work.
to fail.
Never known to fail. Never known to fail. And that is straight up shite.
That is straight up shite. All day shite. Slurry season, Tom. We're moving into it. I was up home there at the weekend and it wasn't thick in the air, but it was very like, yeah, someone's spreading already. Someone's put a spread out.
Do you know why? Do you know why it wasn't thick in the air like it was during your childhood?
Go on.
Dribble bars.
Dribble bars. Oh, so it's not just the one big fantail splurge at the back of
No,
the...
not allowed doing that anymore. Handful of reasons. It fucking wafts everywhere.
Wow.
And well, which I was never like. I mean, if you're right close to a brand new raw field just sprayed, it can alarm the senses. It can definitely wake you up, but also,
You
I
know when it's happening.
also there was a danger, I think, with it too. There was if cables have high enough voltage passing through them, it can actually it can jump and transfer down through the liquid, which is
No.
mostly made up of water. It is mostly slurry is mostly made up of water, i.e.,
True.
piss and rainwater, whatever else in the tank that was sucked out that day.
Yes.
It can actually jump and shoot down and cause me like I mean it's going to hit a giant tank of metal, and which will run up along a giant monster truck of a tractor made of metal. Now the Faraday
But
cage,
riding on rubber tires. Hey, look, we're not
sure
here
you
to
are.
discuss the physics of it, Tom. It's shit. It smells like shit. And for the longest time, cultures, not just me and you, all of us, we do this when we get someone from the town up with us up into
Oh,
the country and they hit the smell of slurry for the first time. And like, what the hell is that?
oh, it's nothing better.
And all of us, what do we do, Tom? We turn around and go,
It smells like the country.
that's the country. That's the
That's the
good
country.
country air for you.
And you're just loving them reveling in horror. They're like, Jesus Christ, why is it attacking my childhood memories? What is going on with me? For the love of Christ, this is a
They were like,
natural.
would you ever give over? That's
I
good
always,
smell.
I
That's good
always
smell.
thought you culchies were absolute savages that lived in shite, but you really do live in shite. Look at this. This is disgusting. Oh my
Here's
God.
the
I
thing,
can
right? Here's
burn
the
my
thing.
hair after being out in this. This is disgusting.
Tom, I'm gonna maybe expose some culty secrets. This is like behind the magic from the 80s, the masked
Oh yeah,
magician
yeah,
giving
yeah,
away
yeah,
the
yeah.
secrets. Uh I don't think that we culties actually like the smell of slurry.
Yeah,
Truth be known, none of us go and buy aftershave that smells like it at Christmas.
but at the same time, right, exactly. But at the same time, you wouldn't buy an aftershave that smells like your own fart.
Well,
But
this is true.
you,
But yes, okay, I see where you're
it's,
heading with this.
you know
I'm
what I
ahead of
mean?
you here, buddy.
It's a very weird paradox that can only be developed in the brain of people that are better than most, i.e., country people. We are simple as that.
Yeah.
And while you're at peace with it, you're at peace with the fact, and there's a comfort in it. Like you cracked off your own fart, and
Nice.
it's only great when other people are horrified by it.
Well, I mean, yes.
Like we won't pass if you and me are walking down a road, chewing some bits of grass in our hand, and trousers tied up with bale and twine. We really are selling a
Yeah,
story
I
here to
mean,
people.
yeah.
Talking about quotas of milk and whatnot, and all those other country things that people country people talk about. And maybe we'd go to the dance chair and we might find wives for ourselves, and we'd smell slurry in the air. And would either one of us pass judgment? Not
No,
really.
no,
Probably not.
you'd pay it no credence. You know what I mean?
Other than wondering who was doing the spreading and whose field 'twas on. Just out of nosiness. That's really it. You just accepted it. It was just part of the countryside. But nothing was more fun than having somebody who just wasn't ready for that experience being in your presence. Like you put the window down, driving through the countryside with a veritable townie slash city person, and they're like,
Yes.
Jesus Christ,
What the hell?
cars need to come with a special filter for this absolute assault on my senses right now. This should be criminal. We need to outlaw this immediately. In fact, just put a dome over the whole countryside that isn't Dublin. Um, and there's nothing. I mean, the howling that you would have done. It's like catching getting the American cousin or to grab a nettle. You're like, yeah,
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 I'll grab an
yeah,
electric
yeah, yeah,
fence. Yeah,
yeah. Grab an
like
electric fence. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm just going to say like I used to go to college in Dundalk, and of a Fridays or thereabouts, the Harp Brewery would let out an awful smell of it, whatever they were brewing up the
Oh,
wash or the
same when I lived in Cork, the
right.
Murphy's Brewery. Whoa, my God.
Now, what I will say is this: it's thank to high heaven, but through time, you got used to it,
Yeah,
and you didn't mind it, and it
like
was
being in
like,
prison.
and then when you smelled it, it was like, yeah, that's okay, but like it wasn't like. It wasn't a nice smell. You know the petrichor smell of like the ground after it's been raining. You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
wasn't like that's an earthy, good smell
yeah,
that I
yeah,
think
yeah,
most
yeah,
people like. Shite, Tom.
Oh, there's no two ways about it, Jar.
Right?
It's absolutely rank. And here if anybody's wondering what shite, where did you get the shite? I mean, how is there so much shite? Does somebody have a job to go around scooping up shite? It's gotten very quick education here. It's gotten, we
Yep.
talked about dangers. Last week I talked about working at a pig farm. That's exactly where it comes from. It
Yeah.
comes from the little piggies poo down through little slots that are in the ground because there's actually a basement underneath that and they all flow into a big tank and that basement continues beyond the length of the building. The footprint of the basement is bigger than the footprint of the building, leaving an open tank with there to be covered these days because they are extremely dangerous if you did fall in or
Yes.
get near to one. And tractors will back in with anything these days. Like I remember seeing tanks with like 8 and 9 and 1,000 liter tanks. Oh my God, those things would fit in your pocket in comparison to the absolute super tanker straight out of um gasoline and
Yeah. Mad
like
Max.
Mad Max. Like these things are 4 and 5,000 liter tanks. They've got their own braking system. They've got their own postcode. These things and they just suck it up. But the reason why it doesn't stink so much nowadays, Jaron, I alluded to it earlier, was a dribble bear. And I like
And
just like
walk me
I'd
through
like
the
saying
dribble
it
bar,
with that
Tom.
extremely strong Tipperary accent, dribble bear. That'll actually might clip that just dribble bear. There's
Dribble
something
bar.
there's something naughty about it. And it's exactly as it sounds. Much like you'd see the sprayers on the back of on the sprayers for
Yes.
insecticides and stuff. What it's the same thing, bar running across the back, and each little droppy hole, driplet thing out of that bar actually now has its own little flappy piece of pipe. So like the roll flat pipe that it's
Yeah.
hose pipe, roll flat, maybe 2 inch hole, is wrapped around that. So it actually lets it run down along that and it drags it along the ground. So if you walk through a freshly slurried field right now, you'd see loads of little lines, like hundreds and thousands of little lines. And that's what it is. And it's getting it right to the soil without shooting it up into the air anymore. I don't
Oh.
think you're allowed to shoot it up into the air this long
If I
time.
want
You're
to
not
shoot it up
supposed.
in the air, I'll shoot it up in the air, Tom.
There are certain counties in Ireland, I think, where they look over the other ditch, if you know what I mean.
Right.
As far as I know, they look over the other ditch. Now, I will say, it's 9 times out of 10 and better stuff, nitrogen wise, apparently, to have piggy poo. Some fellas will have a heavily full cow tank as well from cows wintering. They'll stand in a similar scenario over the winter. So they're not
Yes.
out, getting cold and whatnot.
And chickens as well, Tom, and turkeys, maybe? No?
I
Do
guess
we
so,
throw
but
that in the mix?
they
Maybe?
probably you wouldn't get the volume, I'd imagine. You'd probably blast through a lot of
That's
that,
that's a fair comment. Now.
You're not going to like look at what a cow's dropping, but the cow shite I have noticed is absolutely another level of rankness, and that will last 4 and 5 days in the air. Whatever's in cow shite, it's violent in comparison to pig shite. This is an unbelievably educational podcast. I need to add that, by the way. You won't get this sort of stuff. And I need to tell you also, Ger, do you remember we did, if anybody ever wants to go back through the archives, we did a very long breakdown, deep dive of the song
Yes.
Hit the Diff. And it says, many's a gap you won't get at without 6,000 foot. And I don't know if you remember me
Yes.
explaining what that was to you.
Yes.
It's the umbilical cord system where one tractor can actually stay at said tank beside the slurry pit, beside the piggy house. And he has a very, very long reel, much like your hose lock reel that'll be on for your
Yes.
garden. And that runs all the way to the back of another tractor that's at least 6,000 foot away from him, dragging it around the field. So there's no more tank actually on the back of a tractor. He's just
Right.
pumping his big long straw all the way over to the back of the other tractor who's dribbling it around the field and it just drags on behind him. So that's the other way of doing it. And I still to this stage, I'll revert and come back to what you were saying. I reckon the Tour de France would be right interesting if they cycled through. Let's see how many fellas stay going when they're going up a hill in Monaghan or Cavan or West Cork and there's some bastard beside him spreading shite on the field and maybe 1,000 acre field beside him and they have to cycle for miles around that field even. Actually, that's a race. Get them to cycle around a field that's continuously had cow shit being spread on it or pig shit being spread on it and see how long they last. I don't know if you can hear it right now, but I just got interrupted by the dog. She's absolutely losing her bananas outside. Most likely one of the wood pigeons. But anyway,
Well, listen, we're going to let you get to her there. And anybody out there that has any strong feelings about the smell of shite, maybe you love it. Who knows? Let us know in the comments. And we don't just say these things willy-nilly, Tom, because we do read them.
We
And we
do.
do bring them back around to the show. We put it out in the comments after last week. Myself and Tom outlaid the near misses that we had, the bullets that we dodged, and the pigs that we vaulted. We put it to the community, you wonderful Tom and Jerry listeners, as to what you guys, your near misses and whatnot. Would you like to hear a couple of them, Tom, and then we wrap this
God,
thing
I
up?
would. I absolutely
You
would.
got it. You got it. Okay, so friend of the show, Mr. Rich Craven, came at us on Twitter there, and he said that he was in, I want to say it was Edinburgh. Let me just grab it up here. Yes, indeed, Edinburgh for the festival, and he was walking past some street performers. Tom, we're going to save our opinions on those
Oh, Jesus
gentlemen for.
Christ. 5 years I did the Edinburgh
All
Festival.
right.
I still have PTSD from street performers and arts people. But go on.
Well, Richie says that one of these dudes had leaned one of their unicycles, you know, the super tall
Oh, Jesus
unicycles.
Christ. The
They were
story
about
gets more
eight
and
foot
more.
tall or some
This is
such.
terrifying. Oh, my God. Go on.
And he left it lying against the wall. And not Richie, he wasn't on the unicycle. He was very nearly under it because the thing came down like a cartoon hammer. It really sounds like the most wacky racist catch the pigeon shit I've ever heard of in my life. That the saddle of the unicycle just came straight past him and hit the ground so hard it cracked a flagstone. So he would have had his head split open by a fallen unicycle. That's near miss, Richie. I gotta
Oh,
tell you,
dude,
buddy.
that is them. That would. Oh, my God. Never have I heard of a more dreadful way with so many layers to how you might have died. God, Rich.
It brings another man. Steve Callis here comes in. We're all against the performers here. Steve says that he nearly got into a fight with a mime,
Understandable. Completely
and
understandable.
only Steve himself got more clear-headed about it and backed down from the fight with the mime because he felt, what if the mime gets lucky, gets one of these one punch kills kind of crack?
Should would have
Who
stopped
wants to
short?
get
He would have stopped short of his face anyway and just pretended. So it's all the matter. He would have. Rich, no, it's not Rich. What's this chap's name?
This is Steve, yeah, and he
Steve.
basically says that he calmed down and walked away from the fight because he did not want to be known as the man that was killed by a mime. That's pretty sensible.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. That's right up there with the unicycle. Christ above.
Joe, how you doing, Joe? There, she was um boiling a big pot of water.
Oh,
I'm
fuck.
told here. I don't know whether this is for ham, spuds, who knows? Not important, but the gas went off. And she didn't realize until Blue Lips started to enter the house and was wondering, like, why is there blue lips? Okay, the pilot light went out.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So the actual,
Do you know what I
like,
mean?
this could have been an Emmerdale Farm end of season kind of
Oh, this could have been. Oh, yeah,
scenario.
yeah. This could have been like this could have been a
The roof is
two-page
going to end up in
pullout.
the other county. Oh, my
Yeah,
Christ.
news the
Okay,
world
that's
two-page
actually,
pullout.
that's all, yeah.
Oh man, we got a brick came out of a wall here. Madeline was coming down Grafton Street, and a brick came out of a second story height.
Oh,
It seems like
Jesus.
a truck knocked down a decoration or some such, and the brick just like spun straight past her as she was walking down the street. And as she says it up here, one step faster, it would have been her head, or you never have to work again for the rest of your life because of massive compensation.
Grafton Street, of course. With the help of God,
I
it
mean, death or
was.
compensation, one or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. I mean, if it came out of Brown Thomas, you're driving a Bentley, albeit one armed, for the
Uh,
rest,
I'm going to give you one more here. Sorry, we could do these all days, but Chris over on Instagram was lighting a biomass boiler.
Oh, by
Uh,
Jesus.
and, and he didn't know when one of his friends he describes as the gonk I was with threw
Yeah.
in petrol to help things get going.
Oh, Jesus, he's that friend. He's that way, yeah.
And our
Yeah.
man Chris loaded up logs and whatnot, lit the firelighter, and kaboom! Blinded by hot air that flew at his face and obliterated his facial hair
The
and put
only
him on
thing,
his arse 6
the,
feet back.
the only thing is, he watched his friend do that and still proceeded. So there was 2 minutes. There
He
was
says,
2 minutes.
unbeknownst to me, the lad threw a healthy dollop of petrol in to get it going.
There's
We're
no
going to
unbeknownst to
take it.
nothing. There's no
There's no
unbeknownst to
unbeknownst to
nothing.
nothing.
It must be that odorless petrol, or he just threw what? Say, I keep a hip flask of petrol in his sleeve, like, and just throws it in at random times. Come on now.
I'm gonna give you another one here. Sorry, I'm only after seeing this here now, and it's another Chris. Chris spelled CH. Chris, my man. How are you keeping there? He was working in a hardware shop. This is why this one is particular interest to me.
Okay.
He got a load of rock wool delivered. I've been there.
Yeah.
And as he said, we would stack it down the back of the shop. But before we would stack it, we would play with it.
Of course.
Perfectly understandable, right? And
Yeah.
I do remember when rock wool came in. Rock wool is non-itch fiberglass. It was an absolute godsend. You wouldn't be doing this on regular fiberglass.
Not at all. No itch off the rock wool. And it's fireproof as well.
Yes, indeed. This week's sponsor, Rockwool. So what Chris says, what they would do is they would do WWF moves onto it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one evening he says the door was quiet. We were fucking around. And he attempted a swanton bomb off the top of a 10-foot racking
Good man.
down onto the Rockwool. No notes. Absolutely what I would have done myself.
100%.
He did the somersault at the top, but he clipped the fluorescent lights.
With his toes.
So that means he didn't rotate enough to land on his back on it. So he dove head first down into the ground, really. Yeah.
Because
I'm reading it here. He didn't overrate too, but it spun him sideways, just missing the top of a breeze block wall, sending him straight through a gap between some of the stacked insulation and stopping 2 foot short on the top of a random fence post. I mean,
yeah,
that's a near miss.
that's 100% a near miss. Only because it's so relatable. Like, yeah, I mean,
I'm going to do like one from the Naked Gun. I'm going to be like, that's how my grandfather died. But come here, that is the crack that we have with the Tom and Jerry show. You're all very well.
that's brilliant.
For listening and indeed contributing. Look at that. That's what we do here in the Tom and Jerry show. We have crack with the listeners. If you want to be part of that crack, then you're going to need to follow us on the social media at Tom and Jerry Show, Jerry with a G. That will get us on pretty much everything. Or if you want, you'll get him at Tom_O'Mahony, me at Jerry McBride. What else would we like these fine folk to do, Tom?
Well, go ahead and hit subscribe. But before we do that, do you know what? We don't have a full-time sponsor yet. We're going to get it. We will eventually get a sponsor. We will have mugs and the like. But I think just because we've been talking about competitively about races and hurling, do you have a favorite of those that you read out as a near miss for one reason or another?
Near miss, I'm going to have to give it to the WWF Swanton, but I'm biased. What can I say?
I'm going to go with the unicycle because for me, a man could actually die, with the tricolor on his coffin if he died doing the swanton bomb. Everybody would go, I get it. But my God, to die, Jesus, with a unicycle hitting you on the head at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, that's right up there.
You don't come back from that.
No, there's no, your family member and everything. It's a close call. Like that's odd. Yeah. For me, that's who I'm picking as the most chilling near death experience.
So those guys are the I guess victors.
Let's call it that.
Stupidest way you could die.
Well, maybe you have to do it in stages over the next 4 weeks. Hey, but just hit subscribe on whatever platform you're listening. And if you can give us the highest rating, that'd be great. Whether it's 5 stars or 5 thumbs up or whatever the hell it is. If you want to leave a comment, it all makes them more visible to more people. Maybe a screen grab, tag us on the platforms that Jerry was talking about and let us know where you're listening. All the things we talked about today from watching crazy sports like hurling. If there's a crazy sport that you watched and went, what the WTF is this? Let us know. Also the Tour de France. Maybe we can jazz it up a bit better. Like myself and Jerry talked about, maybe a couple of weapons, give us a sprint. Or if you have another way, flamethrowers on it. Do it all on unicycles at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, heading down the Royal Mile. Do you know what? I think that's a race we'd all want to see. Only to have artists and mimes to cycle them. Other than that, sure. It's time now I go see what this dog has absolutely torn to bits outside the door of this office.
Excellent stuff, Tom.
Good luck.
Good luck.